What do you truly desire? Hmm. This is a line from a series on Netflix called Lucifer. And the reason why I'm thinking of that idea and asking you the question, what do you truly desire? Is that when you are thinking of what you desire in life, um, you may think, okay, I want to be a better person. I want to achieve more at work, more at home. I want to get closer to my end goals so I can achieve my vision. Some of you may say, okay, the desire to do something gets me out of my comfort zone so that I can overextend my boundaries, what I think uh, I can do, and it is achieving even more. And you know what? It allows us to test our limit. Now, why am I speaking about desire today? I was listening to the audiobook of the from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and he was talking about desire. And as he was talking about desire, the desire to do more to achieve your goals, I was thinking about how the idea of being driven is actually driven by desire. So when we talk about someone driven, the idea is okay, that person is willing to do more, to overextend themselves, to reach their limit and go beyond, to see what's out there, to grow and achieve their vision. Well, some of you would say, well, we're not all driven. All I want to do is do my little thing every day, go home, and be at peace. You know what? The desire to have peace is important. But many of us are driven to do more. Many of us are driven to achieve more than their day to day lives. Some of us have occupations that we love. We call them vocations. Other people are doing um, work so that they can fund their interest. But the idea here is all of us have desires. And that is what I'm going to talk to you today. The perspective I will have is when we have the desire to achieve something, to explore and be more than what we are right now. That desire is at the base of the drive, the energy that makes people driven to achieve more. So let's see if I can expand on that a little bit. So when you think about health, and see, I'm going to talk about three topics here that I mention often: health, wealth, and relationships. So let's see how desire fits in all of those. If you think of health, you will say, okay, many people say, I want to be fit, I want to be healthy, and I'm going to go on a diet, go to the gym, and so on. So this is a great way to be healthier. On the other hand, if you want to be more driven to achieve that goal, let's see if you can appreciate this sentence here. I have the desire to be the fittest person or the fittest version of who I am. So let's see if I can say that to you, and I want you to repeat for yourself. So, for our health, what we want is the desire to be the fittest version of who we are. And that's a different dimension. You could say, well, I want to be healthy, but sometimes it doesn't follow or it doesn't emphasize the end goal of what we want to reach. But if we say that we want to be, with our desire is to be the fittest version of ourselves, then we have to say, okay, if we are doing an activity, if we are eating something, if we are meeting with friends and to a restaurant, if we decide to go to the gym or walk instead of taking the car, all of those choices refer to the fact that if you desire to be the fittest version of who you are, you need to say, okay, what would a fit person do? What would my coach do? What would my personal trainer say? What would a great cook say about how to prepare the meal? How would um, let's say my kids see me to do activities? These are all amazing questions because we all want to improve our situation. But to say that we want to improve is great, but we need to go a bit beyond that. For example, some of us will say, okay, I want to be the fittest version of who I am. Well, if someone loves cookies, We could eat five or we could eat one. If you love cookies, I'm not going to say that you can't eat cookies. On the other hand, you could eat one instead of five, and that would be amazing. Your desire to be the fittest version of yourself is there, and but you're not overindulging because you know that your personal trainer or your doctor would say, you know what, that is not the best version for you. The next thing is if you need to go for some errands, you could say, so for example, when I go to the mall, so there's a mall not too far where if I park at one of the store at a grocery store, it allows me to go and do some shopping in four different stores, and then I finish with the grocery. It's all in the same parking lot. So the beauty for that is, yes, I could go to five specific store that maybe I would like more. On the other hand, being able to park in one spot and do all my shopping in one area. Yes, I do walk a little bit, but hey, it allows me to improve my health. You may have noticed sometimes you want to go to a restaurant or you're going to work and you've got a parking lot full of cars and some people are driving for minutes to get the closest spot to the door. My perspective is I see what the door is and then I do a perpendicular line and then I go as far as I need to find a free spot. Yes, sometimes I have to walk 3 or 4 minutes, but hey, I don't have to worry about the stress of parking, and it's good for my health as well. So let's see if we can make the best choice for our health because we, as a community, our desire is to be the fittest version of who we are. The next one is about wealth. Now, if you think of wealth, in some ways, my situation is that I have a job, I'm at peace, I come home every day. That's wonderful. On the other hand, I'm driven for a little bit more, and that's why I'm doing this channel. I have all kind of ideas. So why do I have those ideas, and where do I find the energy to do so? So the idea here is the desire to achieve my goals. And here, what are my desire? First of all, I want to make the world a better place. So the idea is I need to be able to contribute. In order to contribute, I figured I share my ideas, and then you can comment on the ideas. If you love them, excellent. If you don't, that's okay. There's tons of other YouTubers. But I know that together we can achieve amazing things. So if some people say, okay, I would like to be wealthier. Okay. So here you would say, for wealth, I have the desire to be the wealthiest version of who we are. Okay. So that means that if you are going to change that, it's not just being wealthy, it's the desire to be the wealthiest version of who we are. So that means that we may have all the skills to do so. We may have to learn new skills to be able to achieve that. If that's the case, you know what to do. If there's some of you have all the skills in the world, but sometimes we just need to get the courage to do so. So how can we do that? Well, if our desire is to be the wealthiest version of who we are, then we have to say, okay, what would Jeff Bezos do? What would Elon Musk do given an engineering problem? What would, let's see, we can take someone who plays sport. What would David Beckham do? Or there's some amazing basketball players. What would they do to, what would they tell me to do to be the wealthiest person I can be? Because many people that are high achievers, they end up being wealthy as well. And the reason for that is they have a team with them, or they are surrounded with people that have like-minded ideas. So there we go. So wealth is all about the desire to do so. Because if you say, some of you say, well, you know what? It is this whole idea of desire is exciting and scary. And it is true, it is. And then you may want to do a little bit more. Some of you will say, well, you know what? All of these ideas of desiring more or being driven, it is scary and it worries me a lot. Some of you may feel like that, and that's okay. The idea is the perspective of how we are. In many ways, many of us are scared and worried a lot. That's why we are in a situation that we are today, that we were last week, and a year ago or 5 years ago. If we have an idea, a desire to achieve new goals, then we have to say, okay, what do I have to do so? And that means that somehow inside you, there's a desire for more. And that is the little voice we have to listen sometimes. The next one is about relationships. So when you have relationships, you could say, well, I would love to have good relationships. Okay, so good relationships is great. Many of us are doing that. The next question is, we could say, I have the desire to be the best. Let's see, what is the word here? The desire to be the best version of ourselves, to be there for each other. So that means that if it's part of your family, your kids, your loved ones, your extended family, the idea is not to have good relationships. It's the desire to be the best version of yourself, to be there for others. Because we can all be there for ourselves. But the idea is once we start helping others and want to be the best version of ourselves for others, that's how we can grow. That's how family interactions get exciting. New adventures are exciting. If you are in an intimate relationship, it gets exciting because the idea here is not to be in a relationship. The idea is to be the desire to be the best version of yourself within that relationships. That means that you want to be there for yourself the same way you're there for the others so that you can grow together. And I think that's quite important. And if you have the idea of friendships, it's the same thing, or work relationships. You want to be the best version of yourself. So that means that if you have all the skills of the world to be able to do that, excellent. If you don't, well, where can you get the skills to be better in your relationships? What can you do to be better salesmen and build relationships and networks in your business? What can you do to be a better contributor in your religious community, for example, your town? What is happening is when you want to be the best version of yourself, and everybody wants to do that, then we can help each other. And I think it can be a possibility of an exponential growth. Because if together we have the desire to be the best version of ourselves, we will be able to achieve, I think, our goals faster. And I think that is quite important. And I believe in you. On this, I'm going to share a video here for you to go and see. And you know what? As you watch this video, I want you to remember that as we go on through the days, I want you to be great and do amazing things. I'll see you in the next video.